It's played by Sebastian Armesto. When he's like saying, you know what, I'm a good writer too. I can't front for this guy. You know, I want my writings to be out there for me. Well, then that's when they finally, somehow, through a bunch of twists and turns, end up having William Shakespeare as the front man.
Yeah,
and
it's just a poor, almost illiterate actor.
Yeah, you know, everybody talking about that. In this movie, they're talking about not only did Shakespeare not write these things, but the motherfucker can't write at all. You know,
can't write. Yeah.
He can read somehow to memorize his lines, but he can't write.
He can't write.
And
he's a douchebag. He's probably got venereal diseases.
Yeah,
he's the biggest opportunist.
Yeah.
And the guy who's playing it does a fucking brilliant job of that, because there's a lot of disdain you have just watching him on screen, because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's like, wow,
no,
I just got a gift from fucking heaven.
No, this guy, who's that comedian we hate today? That British comedian.
Dan Cook. Russell Brand.
He's the Russell Brand of his time. Seriously, he is. And so, I mean, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that this guy who's able to write all this prose, all these sonnets, all this poetry, all these great stories, can not ever pass his name along on these writings. And that's where the movie gets a little, I guess, when it becomes a little unbelievable to me, and that's where it becomes a little convoluted, because I mean, I don't see any real reason why he cannot ever say my name on these at some point. Like when I'm gone, when I'm dead and gone, pass these up and tell everybody, fuck you, I wrote these. You know, he's like, I can never ever let the world know. I was like, well, you got some fucking ego, man.
Yeah, he sounds like something of a drama queen.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and
I can never let the world know.
You've seen a Shakespeare
right?
play.
Exactly.
He is a bit of a drama queen.
and that was the other thing. An actor whose his name is Rafe Spall. The last time I remember this guy, he was in that movie One Day.
Rafe Spall?
Yeah.
Who the hell names their kid Rafe when their last name is already Spall?
It's like somebody who watches a lot of Harry Potter movies.
I was going to say, it sounds like some kind of monster, Lovecraft.
Who names that kid Reese Ifans? You know what I mean? But yeah, this guy, he plays, and I don't know if it's the way it was written. I would actually say the way this whole movie is written, it's probably by the writer. The writer here is John Orloff. I would say
Count Orloff.
Count Orloff. But he wrote Shakespeare in here to be, they go way too far to like make it seem like someone who would never be able to write this. I mean, in this movie, he is a bumbling idiot. I mean, to play to the point where it's too hammy. It's too much comedy.
Really? Because I loved it. I was eating up every moment of that, because you're right. It is like that fucking comedian. Russell Brand taking Bill Hicks material and just like fucking using it. And he's getting all the glory.
You lay that scenario out.
I mean, the thing is, though, the guy just does a great job of like really like being the opportunist that apparently this movie portrays him as. He's kind of like, in a weird way, the enemy. You despise him, yet there's a part of you that goes, can you really blame the guy? I mean, can you really blame the way he's acting?
Well, yeah, after a while.
It sounds like the writer was somebody who failed English in high school because he just could not get Shakespeare. And he's like, I hate that guy. When I grow up, I'll take care of him. This is his revenge.
Right. Yeah.
He's not even mildly likable in here. At least he's not supposed to be.
Sorry.
But I think part of the reason people were so offended because it was adding insult to injury. It's like bad enough they're saying there was no Shakespeare, it was this other guy, but to say, oh no, wait, yeah, there is a Shakespeare, he was a complete fucking asshole.
Well, no, and that's he's right. This guy's an asshole to the 10th degree, man. Not only is he just a bumbling idiot, but he's murderous. He's scheming. I mean, they made this guy like they wanted to say, okay, not only did Shakespeare not write this, but he's an asshole too.
Well, I just love it because there's a point in the movie where he's just like, hey, you came to me. All right, you came to me. That's not my problem. I didn't ask for this. You came to
not really. He was scheming to get these writings like early on. So he was. It's some way or another. He was going to like push himself out to be.
Well, I mean, that's
the genius that he never was.
That's what he told
in this movie.
That's what he told the guy who fucked it up.
He wasn't even as ridiculous though as the other main villain in it, which was.
Wait, there's another villain?
Yeah, no, there's another guy who's a hunchback, mind you.
And
wait. Okay, to be worse than the guy you guys just described as Shakespeare. The main villain must have been Uday Hussein.
Right. No, he's like dark hair with a big goatee that he does everything but twirl and go, blah.
Well, it's okay. So the queen, who's played here by Vanessa Redgrave, and then, when was Vanessa Redgrave ever bad?
Never.
Her her advisor is William Cecil, and he has a son named Thomas. And Thomas he just slinks around the background. He's like, hey, oh, Edward, your day, you will fall one day.
With his parrot Iago.
Yeah. And that hunchback is over there. I mean, he's looking like Igor through the shit.
Man, there's got to be a coalition of royalty advisors who will stand up and say, "Hey, stop making us the villains in every story." But it's ridiculous.
It's a court intrigue thing that doesn't. I think part of the pleasure of this film is that it doesn't play out the way you're expecting to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like feels like a traditional hero's journey stuff, and then you got fucked.
Yeah. I mean,
oh man,
I'm not going to say I've heard this as a complaint, but I would dare say that where some people are looking for more of a Shakespearean drama, what they leave with is a Greek tragedy because of all the elements of incest and political deceit and intrigue. I mean, it does go to that level. And it's overblown. They're reaching very hard. They're throwing it's almost like they put every conspiracy theory they have out there into the blender and then some.
Well, all that shit's in Shakespeare too, man. You read Oedipus, Richard III, I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like the way y'all talk about it.
Everything in here is like, all those elements are here because they are reminiscent of elements of Shakespeare's plays. But the problem is like, if you do those same elements and then they're not written in that iambic pentameter, that the beautiful verse of Shakespeare, then you've just got a soap opera pretty much.
Beautiful schmeardeber, whatever. I didn't care because like I said, it was fucking entertaining and I was like involved and I actually cared. I was like, okay, there's no one dragging me out of this theater right now, and I'm shocked I'm saying that because with something like this, I mean, I did not want it to end. It felt in a weird way like a really good like HBO series.
Right.
Watching it, I mean, I thought all the characters are pretty well rounded, and even at the end, it's like everyone's story wrapped up. I mean, there wasn't anything where I left going, okay, well, as many characters, as much of an ensemble that you have in here, there's never a point where I'm like, well, what happened to this person, this person, this person? I mean, they pretty much gave everyone their beginning and ends.
You know what, man? You make a good point too, because I think if Roland Emmerich's name wasn't on this, and if it was an HBO series or an AMC series, people would
fucking eat it up.
They would, man.
Yeah. It'd be another Game of Thrones.
Well, they got so many of the bells and whistles right. I mean, it's a beautiful looking film. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Seems even its harshest critics have admitted, it's real pretty to look at. They recreate that period of England and a lot of just the little things you never see in films like this. Are just about how cruddy everybody was. And covered with shit. They gotta get that
just right. And then bringing buckets of shit and just dumping them everywhere.
They gotta got that stuff right.
Victoria's Secret had buckets of shit.
But I guess there's so many things about the way that the people involved are handling it that are irritating to people who are even mildly scholars of this period. They're like, no, it's all accurate, and then they're like, well, here's a giant list of stuff that like just off the top of my head is complete bullshit, and they're like, well, I mean, accurate in the sense of like the spirit of the age, dude. I get it. I get why some people are pissed, and if I was one of those type of people who gave a shit, I'd probably be pissed too. But I'm not. I'm just a theater goer. And you know what? I had fun with it regardless of its issues. There's points where the acting's kind of bad, but not from the main characters because they're all fucking badass as hell. Like the leads? Wow, they're amazing. Rhys Ifans kicks it totally in this film. Queen Elizabeth, Vanessa Redgrave, she's like kind of in her dotage, she's like not really like senile per se, but she's almost there.
Was that her daughter in the movie? Like Vanessa Redgrave's real daughter?
Jolie Richardson? Yeah, that's her daughter.
Yeah, she plays young Queen Elizabeth too. Yeah, so I thought that was cool casting.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of the effects are just terrific. They're mind blowing at points, but I just couldn't totally fall in love with it. I wanted to. I kept like going, wow, that's so cool. And then it would do something to completely pull me out of it. Like it would have a crappy scene with just really cheesy dialogue, or it would have like a moment where one of the supporting characters, just like the guy who played Shakespeare, who I did not care for, was just too over the top. I don't know. I kept going back and forth.
Yeah, no, what would you give it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we there? I'd give it a matinee because I still think it's a lot of fun. It's a crowd pleaser, which I never thought you'd say about a film about Shakespeare, generally speaking, with possibly the exception of Shakespeare in Love. But no, it's a solid matinee.
Yeah, I couldn't tell people. Like, I don't think this is one of the best films of the year, but I do think it's one of the best looking films of the year. And I do think that, look, if you aren't that much into Shakespeare, it's a guilty pleasure. If you're not, I do think it's a cool period piece. I I don't understand why people are having a hard time following this. I don't understand why people are being so defensive and offended by this.
Because they're assholes. That's why.
Thank you, Lord.
They're assholes. Yes, there are a lot of snobbish.
Well, I'm not an asshole.
Snobbish idiots.
And I like this movie a lot. And I would, just for my personal enjoyment, it has a lot of elements of things in there. Actors I like, great set, great costumes. Great set pieces and great costumes. I would say this is a personal full price for me.
Yeah,
well, I guess all my ratings are personal, but really, I guess what I'm saying is I understand the complaints about this, but I really
just don't give a shit.
I don't give a fuck. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
Yeah, I'm the same way. When have I ever gave a fuck about some other fucking critic's opinion? But
much less anyone in this room.
No comment. But no, I mean it's a movie and it entertained me. All right, it's a movie about fucking Shakespeare and whatever conspiracy theories they were throwing at me. I was believing all of them. I'm like, you know what? That's a good argument. I don't care how stupid this is, as far as the asshole sitting next to me telling me no, that's completely wrong. Just, hey, shut the fuck up, I'm watching this movie because it's more interesting than you are. And I mean,
I'm gonna remember these things next time a Batman movie comes out.
But the thing is that I mean, it really kept my interest. I thought all the performances were pretty strong. I love the guy playing Shakespeare. I mean, I thought as far as what he was supposed to portray in this movie, he did an excellent job. And like I said, it's one of those stories where you know it just kept getting more interesting and more interesting as it went along. So yeah, it's definitely full price from.
Did you hear co-hosts are making a movie about the life and films of John Carpenter? Except in it, they say he was just some retarded guy. Tom Savini actually made all the movies. Carpenter was just taking the credit for it all.
I'll wait for that.
You don't have a problem with that.
I'll wait for that already.
No issues with that.
No, because that doesn't exist. That's
But if it did,
I don't believe it.
he would be mad.
I'm mad as hell.
He would be mad.
Uwe Boll is understudy. He was doing all the real work.
Yeah, and you'd be furious.
And I'm not gonna lie, seeing Roland Emmerich's name on it, I was at any moment expecting Shakespeare to just explode.
I mean, I swear, my fucking jaw exploded because it unhinged. Because I was like, he directed this.
I would have given it a full price if Shakespeare had exploded. I'm willing to say that right now.
Well, exploding's a bit much, but come in on a jetpack.
Yeah, sure.